Today we're going to be going over the best abilities to use right now in College Football 25. Now we're not just going to go through any ability that might be usable or it might be pretty good. We're going over the best of the best abilities. Like these are the cream of the crop basically. We're going to start off with the quarterback abilities first. So the first ability we have is Dot. Now the catch with this ability is this is not gonna work if you use placement accuracy. So if you go to your settings and you look at whatever your passing type is, I'm on placement, so that's why I use Dot. Dot works with placement. I'm not sure if it works with classic. I know it does not work with revamped and placement accuracy though. So if you are playing on placement, then I would highly recommend putting Dot on. What the ability does is it basically just makes it to where you're not going to miss many throws. Just makes your quarterback really accurate. Staying on with the quarterback, our next ability is going to be Extender. From my knowledge, only one quarterback gets this platinum right now, and I think it's the guy from Washington that came out for the fraternity promo. I could be wrong if anybody else gets it, but there's a ton of quarterbacks that get it gold right now, Lamar being one of them. What Extender does is it basically allows you the ability to break a sack from any player. It could be a D lineman, it could be a safety, corner, linebacker, anything. And it's actually been like that all year. I know the description says versus all defenders. I was using this ability earlier in the year when it said it only worked against like defensive backs and stuff, and it 100% was working on D linemen and stuff. So I don't want to say I've been ahead of the wave, but I've been running this for a while. This is going to be our last ability for the quarterbacks right here, and it's going to be Magician. What Magician allows your quarterback to do is when moving around in the pocket with your left stick, not holding turbo, just kind of maneuvering around, it gives you like a really nice just feeling. It almost feels like, I was gonna say like escape artist from Madden, but it doesn't really correlate really well. You just maneuver, so you just kind of glide through the pocket. It feels really good, and then it makes it easier when you do want to escape and run out the pocket. It's really good. It's only 2 AP. I've ran a majority of the year. I don't think you need it, but if you do have it on, you're going to notice a very big difference from having it on and not having it on. I know I said that was actually the last ability for the quarterbacks, but I almost forgot all about Workhorse. Workhorse, though, is kind of a universal ability. Like, everybody gets it, and it's just a really good ability. Now, I do think it needs to be put on other positions more than others. Like, for example, for me, I must have Workhorse on my quarterback, and I must have Workhorse on my running back. So there is certain positions I think you need to have Workhorse on. If you don't know what Workhorse does, it makes it to where your player doesn't get wear and tear as fast, makes them last a little bit longer, take a little bit more hits. Moving on to the running backs, there's really only like 2 abilities I'm a really big fan of for the running back, and one of them is being shifty. So in this game, though, obviously abilities have different tiers. You got platinum, gold, silver, all that stuff. All the abilities I talked about with the quarterback, I'm kind of fine with them on any tier. Obviously not bronze, but like silver and up, I'm pretty much good with that. With Shifty, I gotta say, I've used it on silver, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. Now, granted, on silver, it's a lot cheaper. It's only 2 AP. But you notice a very big difference between Shifty from silver to gold. It's a really big difference. So, you can still use it on silver, but another problem is I don't know how many running backs even get Shifty gold, but if you can get a running back that gets shifty gold, it is 100% worth it. And the only other ability I really like for the running back is honestly just Workhorse. The rest of the abilities I could care less for. I know some people might like 360. I think the spin is really good by itself. I don't think you need to waste AP on that. So I would go with Shifty and Workhorse. I think that's the best combo. Let's go ahead and move on to the wide receivers now. So I think there's like 3 abilities I really like for the wide receivers. The first one's going to be this one right here, Takeoff. This just makes it to where when your receiver runs their route, against like a non-pressed corner, I think it usually has to be like zone coverage. He's just gonna like get like a crazy speed boost off the line. I've even noticed sometimes he'll get the speed boost like later in the route. It's really weird. There's only like 2 players right now that I think get gold takeoff. I think it's Tyler Boyd and John Ross. So pretty much everyone else gets it silver. I've ran it on and off this year, but it is a very good ability. Next ability is going to be Press Pro. I would recommend only putting this on people that get it not silver, on gold. I think there's a ton of wide receivers that get it gold right now. I wouldn't do that. Silver, I don't see much of a point of putting it on. I don't think it's that good. But when you get this ability gold, basically when defenders are pressing your receiver at the line, they're gonna beat the press way better. And our last ability, this kind of applies to wide receivers and tight ends. It's going to be Cutter. I don't know if there's a ton of people that get it gold, but I know there's definitely a few guys that get Cutter gold. I think if you're going to put Cutter on silver, I would probably just put it on the tight end. If you're going to put it on a receiver, then I think honestly you're going to want to put it on a guy that gets it gold. But it's kind of very similar to Route Tech a little bit from Madden in a sense to when they cut. It just ends up giving them a lot more separation. You really want to use this against man, just because in zone, it's not really much of a point. This right here is going to be our very last ability for the offense side of the ball, and it's actually going to be an offensive line ability. We got quick drop. I think a ton of linemen are getting quick drop gold now. It is only 2 AP. It's the best offensive line ability. It just makes it to where the linemen get back in their stance faster. And I would assume, I haven't tried it on gold, but I've tried it on silver with all my offensive linemen, and it was cool, but I'd rather put my ability other places. But if you do value offensive line abilities, quick drop is going to be the one for you. So for defense, we're going to start off with some D-line abilities. The first one's going to be quick jump. I don't know who all gets this gold. I know Trayvon Walker does. I know Julius Peppers does. And I think maybe only one other person gets this gold. There's not too many people. What quick jump does is it just makes the D lineman get off the ball a lot faster, which, you would probably think, isn't that broken? It is very broken. It is an extremely good ability. I'd recommend putting it on like both of your edge rushers and letting those guys just cause havoc. Now, do you need to have it on gold and silver? I have 3 of them on. I run 3-4. I have 2 of them silver on my edge rushers, and then I have 1 on Trayvon Walker, who's rushing from the interiors. So I guess it all just kind of depends for you, but I think on silver it's still pretty good. Now, I actually only have 1 other defensive line ability, and the ability is actually going to be takedown. This is basically kind of like it's like a secure tackler for tackling the quarterback. Now, I actually wouldn't put this on one of your D linemen. The only situation that I would say, in my opinion, that's reasonable to put this on is if you run the loop blitz. I'm assuming most of you guys know what the loop blitz. I would hope you know what it is by now. I would recommend putting it on that middle linebacker rushing. When he goes in there and hits the quarterback, because with the extender and stuff, these guys are breaking a ton of sacks, but with takedown they wouldn't break it. So that's the only way I'd put it on. Put it on your loop blitzing linebacker. Besides that, the rest of the D-line abilities, I think quick jumps is the best. Let's talk about some DB abilities now. Look, don't get me wrong. Like, there is some other solid abilities on the D line. Like, you got duress, which is like under pressure for Madden, but I just don't think it's worth it. I think they're finally actually starting to give D tackles, I forgot what it's called, whatever the inside stuff ability is called, I can't remember, but they're actually starting to give it to them now. But once again, I just don't think it's all worth it, so I'm only going to give you the top of the top. Our first ability for the DBs is we're going to go with house call. Now, I would only recommend putting house calls on if you're defensive backs to get it gold. I've used it bronze, I've used it silver, and now I'm using it on gold. And silver, it was still wishy-washy. Like, sometimes you'd get a nasty pick, and then sometimes they wouldn't even care. I've only used it on gold for a little bit. I've probably say I've played about, I don't know, 9-10 games with it, but I'll say this, man, I got it gold, and man, these guys pick the ball off. The other ability I like a lot is Ball Hawk. Now, it's pretty solid on silver. Like, it's pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. I used it for a while. I just wish they would start giving it out to guys gold. I think there's only like, what, 1 or 2 guys that get Ball Hawk gold. Like, if there was more people that had Ball Hawk gold, then I might run that over house call. I don't know. What Ball Hawk does is, in zone coverage, it just makes your DBs break on the ball and react way faster. Like, it's really good on silver. I just recently switched over to house call, but I am pretty tired of dropping picks. This is going to be our very last ability for defense, and it's going to be Jammer. So Jammer, it's pretty self-explanatory. If you like to play a lot of press man coverage, Jammer is going to help you a lot with just press animation, making sure receivers cannot get off the line. This is an ability you would probably only use for your corners. House call and Ball Hawk, you can use those on both your safeties, even though Ball Hawk, I like that a lot more in the outside corners, and then House call, I think, is universal. You can pretty much put that anywhere in the secondary. This is pretty much going to wrap the video up right here. We're going to talk about some kicking abilities. There's only 2 you really need. You need Mega Leg and you need Deep Range. I think I don't know if the 99 overall kicker gets like platinum stuff. I would assume he does. I actually need to pick him up. I don't know why I haven't yet, but Mega Leg and Deep Range, that's what you're looking for. Those are all the abilities that I got to give out. Like I said, there is some other abilities I kind of left off the list, but I think they're just good. I only wanted to put the great abilities on here. If there's some abilities that we did not talk about on here that you thought should be on here, that you can comment them down below. That's pretty much going to do it for this one, though, man. If you guys did enjoy this video, or if this video helped you out, man, drop a like. And if you're not subbed to the channel, sub to the channel, man. We got lots of more content on the way. But till the next time, man, I'll see y'all in the next one.